Hi, I'm back. I thought I had everything set up and I was videoing, and it turned out I literally took a picture instead of videoing. So these are kind of the little quirky things that are happening to me as I'm going through this process and learning. So you can see that I've started some of these details. So I'll go back over it and you can see what I've done, and I'll redo. So one of the things that I'll show you is you want to take some of the colors that you've started with, and you can start emphasizing and putting color in on top of these little blobs of color that just sort of spread out with the background. And you're using them to be your guide as you're painting and going along. And you want to create a diversity with the way that they're being done. So I put a little bit of the gouache out, and so I have some of this, and this is opaque, and you can see that on the darker ones I literally made some flower petals on top of those. So you can see I can do a tiny one here. You want it to be able to show up, so using some of your darker ones will be great, and they look like little cute little daisies. I'll put one here like this and kind of spread them around. Maybe you can even get two into one like this. But be creative in how you move around your painting, and just have fun with the process. So you can see I'm using these dots as my placement for flowers. So you can see that I have some green stems here. So you can see how I'm bringing them down, and I'm bringing them right off the page like this. And you can even have some that kind of cross over each other like this and bring them down like this. You can make darker ones and have darker ones in amongst the lighter ones like that. And it gives it a little bit of diversity to your painting. You can put some leaves in amongst them like that. They can just be floating in there. It's all about design that's going on in here, you know, and it's kind of the funky fun of art that you can do. You can have some that are coming, you know, off your thing, your stem like that, and then have other ones, you know, kind of going like this, where you can see little leaves like that. The other thing that you can do is pull from the blue that we used in the sky. You can pull some of that color down and just put tiny little fun blue flowers in amongst them, and almost like little posies or something like that. The other day, Rob and I were taking a walk, and I saw a bunch of little blue flowers just popping up out of the grass, and it was kind of delightful. So you can stick them in amongst your flowers like this. You can use, you know, repeat colors is a good idea, because when you repeat, you pull the color throughout the whole painting. So we're bringing some of this red in like this. We'll repeat that same red maybe over here. Maybe we can use it for the center and make these little rosebud looking flowers. So you can see how I'm kind of making little dash marks, but I'm using the background color as my guide. This is really a fun, like you could make red in all the centers of these white ones like this if you wanted, and just kind of darken it up just to kind of get a little bit of pops of color here and there. This is the whole idea of this kind of painting, is to just have it be like a free form that that you're doing. You know, you can do polka dots like this and let that be like the center of your flower. You can do a couple of those all around. It's fun to repeat the same flower in different places, just kind of move around your painting. The other thing you can do is you can just be wild and just kind of here and there and kind of wacky and do these kinds of fun little hairy, wild kind of flowers. It's good to do little groupings of them as if they're all growing together like that. You can repeat that one over here again. And you can see that I'm starting to build on top of this thing that we already have. Now I'm going to show you something that you can do with this gouache. So I'm putting like a white center in it like this. And you can either leave it like that, or you can go back later and put polka dots in it, or you can use it as a base to put another color. Like say you wanted to make that yellow. Well, the yellow wouldn't go over the orange too well, but it will go over the white. So when that dries, I can show you how that works. This one here is looking a little bit, I don't know, I'm not kind of liking it. So I'm going to add some diversity to it and just put some white little polka dots here and maybe pull out some white lines in amongst them like that, and give a little bit of diversity to this and lighten it up. This is very Zen-like and very relaxing to do because it's just sitting here and just sort of making things up as you go, which I find really fun. Okay, let's see if we can get some of that yellow on top of the white. It's still not quite dry, but I'm just going to kind of push the envelope a little bit here and put the yellow in there just so that I can, if it was dry, you could paint right over it. So I'm just going to see if I can just poke some yellow into that and give it a little bit of yellowness to it. So that looks pretty good. The other thing is you can see I created a little bush there and I put little berries in it. You can create whatever flowers you want. You can put little, oops, I got a little bit of water on my sky there. So, you know, you can put little things coming up from behind that make little swirlies like this, and then another one coming like this, just so things are sticking up. The other thing that you can do is you could get a little bit of purple and you could do this kind of a flower here that is almost like it's a long skinny with little tiny flowers, and it looks kind of fun when it's sticking up out of the bunch and the group. You could do another one over here just so that there's some kind of a balance. these are the little flowers that you can create. I'm just going to put a center there. Put another little center over here, and then I can build on that later. So there you have it. If you want, you could use this gouache to create little puffy clouds. You can see I do 1, 2, 3, and then I keep like a flat bottom like this. And the gouache can be, depending how much water you're in it, it can be like translucent. So, but it also covers up a lot of the blue. But if I tried to move it around a little bit, you can see the blue through it, which is kind of what I want. Another way that you could do a cloud, I'm going to change the brush just because it's a little bit, is you could wet an area like this. You can see how I'm making a little circle and then another little circle and then another little circle. And then I'm going to make a line like this. And see how just the water, I'm cleaning my brush and getting more clean. And the more I go over it, you don't want to work it too hard because it will make your paper pill. But that's a couple of ways that you can make clouds. This one's a little more subtle. You can always take your paper towel and just do this. You don't want to rub it. You just want to lift it. So we can just do that and then take your paper towel and so you can see that it lifts the paint off. But you have to be careful because the paper is sensitive and it will, you know, it will start to like, you'll see little pieces of paper piling up on there. So I'm going to put a little bit more green stems in here. You can see I have them kind of crisscrossing. This one's going to come down like this. Go get a couple of darker ones. Put a few more leaves in there. And as you keep going with this, it will keep building. But basically that's the gist of it. You can see some of this gouache is disappearing a little bit, and you can always go back over it a little bit and put a little bit more in there, you know, and get that kind of a look with it. So that's two different ways that you can do clouds. Here's the way that you can create that. If you want, you could take a little bit of this white and make like a little dragonfly that goes like this and like this. Later, if you want to put color on top of it, you could. But for now, we're just going to do that. Let me get a little bit of black. You can see that that just actually spread right into there. Let's touch that. I like when I make happy mistakes. Sometimes it's fun. And it just kind of bleeds in. Well, that looks kind of cool. So you can put little flies flying around. I would love to see what you come up with. Just, you know, post your pictures on my site and let me know how much you enjoyed this class. And I'm hoping to get other artists to do some more. So let's see. I will say signing off for today and happy painting. And we will see you probably next week with a new watercolor class. Thanks for watching.